gentlemen, as we welcome some folks in here. As soon as we grab a couple of folks, we will get the show started. And there we go. This is not what we wanted. Kale's all decked out. Is that? Oh, he's not wearing his. He's wearing his Gamecock stuff. No, that's a wrestling hat, isn't it?
No, that's the East Stroudsburg Warriors hat.
East Stroudsburg from Pennsylvania?
Yep.
How do you know about that school?
So I go up there every year.
Dude, my best friend went to college there.
Oh, really?
He's 4 years older than I am. And my high school senior year, he was in a fraternity. He invited me up for Pledge Week, and I just got hammered. I was so gone that not all his frat brothers knew who I was, and I was passed out in some room, and they didn't know who I was, and I could hear them saying, "Let's just throw him out in the road." And you know, like how your brain's saying, "Hey, I should probably tell them no," but I was like, I'm like, I don't give a shit. Like like the energy to actually speak and say, "No, man, I'm Mike Kaiser's friend, the senior head of the fraternity." I couldn't, and finally someone recognized, no, man, that's Posh's friend. No, give him a blanket. Because he was like the kind of like the godfather of the frat. These are all players. No, man. I'm just sitting there, just gone. Like it was, East Stroudsburg, and all week long it was Pledge Week, and my friend Mike just said, listen to the pledges. Treat him like a brother. Anything he wants, you do. And I go, I'm not going to do that stuff. And by the second day, I'm like, pledge! I need a cheeseburger. Okay. The funniest stuff.
That's some funny shit. I can imagine Kale at a party like that. Pledge! Bathe me the hose and bring them to me.
Miller Lite.
Miller Lite. All right, here we go, gentlemen. Welcome into the latest edition of the Rob Comrade and Kale Show. My name is Rob Sanders. I am your host. I have a couple of co-hosts. One is Vladimir Putin's water boy. He is the comrade, Mike Dobreski. Mike, good evening, sir.
Hello. Greetings from the University of South Carolina, where we teach our football players. It's more than just football. It's academics, it's intelligence, Wonderlic scores, off the charts. Meanwhile, not so much for Clemson people. Almost a big disparity.
Yeah, okay. Is that what you're going to go with?
I'm just going to bring it up. 28-9. 28-9.
Okay. Good Lord, what?
That's bad.
Anyway, yeah, all right. Well, let me get my second co-host here today, a gentleman who I am personally, I got to admit, I'm kind of jealous of. This guy appears to be friends with the wonderful tandem of Conrad Thompson and On Anderson. He is on YouTube at Carolina Jackpot. Kale Hall, welcome to the show.
Thank you, sir. Good to be here. I wanted to throw something out there real quick.
Sure.
And I don't know how many you guys live in the upstate area, but throwing the rivalry stuff aside for just a minute here, a lot of our friends over near Clemson, or actually past Clemson, in Seneca, South Carolina, really got devastated.
Very
Sunday night / Monday morning by a tornado that ripped through there, and they killed a man on his job and destroyed a bunch of houses, a bunch of cars, knocked down power lines, messed up some businesses over there. So you those folks in your thoughts and prayers, and if you ever see a place you can donate $1 or $2 to help them out, I mean, it would be that would be tremendous. That was just kind of came out of nowhere, and that in the middle of the night is scary in itself. But the devastation that those folks faced over there in the rebuilding process, especially right now with everything else we're going through in the country, probably would be slowed down anyway. They need your thoughts and best wishes.
Very well said, Cale. And you are unlike some folks who basically said on Facebook. Did you see where someone on Facebook said, God sent that because he knows what's going on at Clemson? Cale has class.
I mean, that's
never say that.
Yeah, that's something I don't know. I don't joke about that kind of stuff.
No need to. Yeah,
Cale. But it's just, I mean, I can't imagine. I mean, lucky enough where I am and where Rob is, we're fine. But I can't imagine going through this crap we're going through right now. I mean, all this crap, and on top of that, have a damn tornado come through your town and rip up your life and house. On top of that, man, you got to be feeling like the world's ending. I mean, you know what I mean? I can't imagine having to deal with that along with what everyone's dealing with too. So, I mean, that's just. I mean, I woke up and heard about it and thought it was a joke at first and thought, no, come on.
Yeah.
I thought like it was a kind of a tornado joke. Oh, what could be worse than the pandemic, a tornado? And I thought it was like a joke kind of a thing. And then I was like, oh, no, that's real. And just missed Myrtle Beach too. My best friend was Myrtle Beach. He just kind of missed Myrtle Beach. And so he was lucky to kind of not have any damage, but awful stuff.
Very awful and not something you want to deal with every day.
It was strange. It was really strange on Sunday night when it was raining. If you went outside here, I stayed up all night and I couldn't go to sleep. At 3:00 in the morning, it was 77 degrees on the front porch, raining, which is nuts.
Yeah, that's crazy. I wish that I could be a weatherman and have something viable that I can, but I can't. Just bless those folks that are up there. Take a moment, think about them just a little bit. Also, tonight I want to thank our sponsors. We are doing, ladies and gentlemen, the over and under for the ACC tonight, and we're going to get into that in a moment. Let's thank our sponsors first. Callaway's Bar and Grill out in West Columbia. They are still doing takeout. You can get your beer there. Find them online at callawaysbarandgrill.com. I'm doing trivia on Saturday nights, social distancing trivia. Yeah, you got to check that out. That's actually really cool. Basically, you sit at your house. I read you trivia questions. If you win, you get free Callaway's food. Very cool stuff. Jonathan, who's watching on Facebook tonight, he plays. Lisa plays. It's a good time there. Also, we have Dennis Wilson from DNC Trucking and Transport, the No Spin Zone segment with the Comrade. Comrade, read away.
It sucks to be a Gamecock. I love two men on this planet, Will Muschamp and Donald J. Trump. Tonight, as we do ACC Over and Under, I understand it makes me – wait a minute. How should you write this? Good Lord. Let me try this again. Let me edit this because Rob did not write this really well. Today – as we do ACC Over and Under, I understand it makes me very sad. I am sad that the majority of the teams in the conference I mock would drag nuts on my sorry team. Remember, Gamecock fans, November is coming. We have to go to Clemson, and that will be another embarrassing loss. It sucks to be a Gamecock. Go Tigers.
The Comrade is the only person I know that doesn't want football season to get here because he knows what a shit show his team is going to be.
True.
That's the way it is, man. The Comrade's not happy. Not happy. Comrade wants Will Muschamp to have another year. That's what he wants, man. Shout out to Gwen watching online. Shout out to our patrons as well, real quick. We'll mention them. Lawton Swan of Clemson Sports Talk, the czar of Clemson Sports. Thomas Daney Young, we appreciate him. Robert Knight, Lisa Sester Harkins, we appreciate her as well. And as I bring up the rest of my list here, Tabitha Sims, I did mention Robert Knight, right? Yeah, I did. Yes. There we go. Positive Mike, Jeff Pritchett, Christian Young, Stacy Hamp, Keith Harrison, Nathan Medlin, Eddie Hicks, who puts together some graphics for our show. We appreciate him.
Yes, he does.
What? He does good.
He put some great graphics. He did a great one the other day.
Yeah, and Marlon, we appreciate everyone who supports the show. Gentlemen, let's get into it, man. We're going to do the over and under ACC this season. We will start. I think I can I'm going to share just for the fine folks that are in our chat room here. I'm going to share with you the helmet schedule here, so you can kind of follow along, and maybe you can look at the schedule. Maybe you can pick with us. Let me get that screen shared in here with you. This is kind of a cool thing here, and that. There we go. There. Now you guys should be. Ooh, wait a minute. Yeah, there it is. All right. So there's the helmet schedule for the ACC there, and we're going to go ahead and get started with. As I look. Wait a minute. I got to read this. Lisa says, "I just saw Kale's ass crack." Beth immediately said, "Lisa, I'll have to watch the replay."
Where are you at?
Kale, you're showing your ass crack to people.
We got a lucky
I
night.
got up just now. I'm in a room of the house right now that I don't go in a lot. And the ceiling fan's on with the lights. And I got one of those deals over here with a toggle switch, controls both. And I want to cut the fan off and leave the light on. I'm trying to figure out the proper yank flip combo to get that to happen. And I guess I turned the lights on before I sat back down.
Marcus Mariota says he saw your ass as well. He also says, "I loved it. I'm going to go to the bathroom for 2 minutes. BRB. Uh-oh. Kale's putting out stuff
Good luck
on the Carolina Jackpot channel. Wow. Woo. That's not good. All right. Over and under for the ACC as we try to make this a family show, but Kale's bringing the goods tonight. Kale, look at you, my friend.
Rated R podcast.
The Rated R podcast, exactly. We will start with Boston College. They are at 5 wins. Kale, would you like the over or under with Boston College? They have on the schedule here Syracuse, Ohio, Kansas, Pitt, Clemson, Louisville, then an off date, followed by Virginia Tech, North Carolina, NC State, Florida State, North Carolina, and then Wake Forest. What do you got, Kale? Over and under at 5 for BC.
All right. Well, looking at their schedule, it looks to be extremely
soft,
easy to navigate. I mean, you're looking at for the cross division team. They play Virginia Tech, which I think they play every year. Then they have North Carolina at home. That could be challenging. But the non-con schedule is really soft. They should go 4-0 in this non-con. You have Ohio U and Holy Cross should be wins. They're at Kansas. That's kind of a bit of a revenge spot from last year. They they lost at home to Kansas, and Kansas turned out not to be really good. They have Purdue at home. I think that's a team that Boston College should take care of. The new coach for Boston College, the new coach, I believe he comes from Ohio State, correct? So
yes.
He should be able to and their staff to be able to out-scheme and beat Purdue, I would think. Of course, they had a problem with that at Ohio State, huh?
Just a little bit.
I think Boston College still gets the win. So you're looking at that. They just got to get one more win here against the ACC. At NC State is a winnable game for them. Syracuse at home in the opener, I feel like, is a winnable game.
It
is. Maybe
you're taking the over then. I mean, you got 6 wins there so far.
Yeah, I'm going to take the over on Boston College. I think that non-conference schedule is so soft that anybody should be able to navigate that. And, all they got to do is pick up a couple of wins here against, a group of teams that this does. I mean, outside of Clemson, I don't see any team on there that they don't stand a chance of beating at some capacity. Louisville at home would be really tough, and at Virginia Tech games, I don't think they're going to win, but I mean, it could happen. So I'll take the over with Boston College.
I'm going to go with Kale and go with the over. I've got Boston College at 6 wins. But that's one of those ones that could be feast or famine, but I'm going to take the over. New coach, and then you got to wonder. Steve Adazio left some good players there, but it's just I just feel like with the non-conference schedule that they've got, it's not very good. And I think they're going to be all right other than that. So I'll give them 6 wins. I'll take the over. Comrade, what you got?
Yeah, it just seems like what worries me, it seems too easy. Like 5 seems just too low. Like I just don't get the 5. And so I'm trying to see what I'm missing here, but kind of what Cal said too. I mean, Holy Cross, Ohio, Kansas, maybe they get upset one of those games. Maybe. Okay, that's 2-1. Purdue, I think they win that one. It's 3. You got Syracuse, who I think is going to kind of struggle again a little bit this year. I just don't see how they don't get to 6 wins. I mean, I can't figure out how they go 5-7 to lose this bet or to push the bet. I mean, it's to push it. So I mean, if you're betting real money, the worst that happens is you push the bet. The worst that happens, So I think it's pretty easy money, which scares me when I think it's easy money because usually something happens doesn't go that way. But I'm taking the over.
All right, so all 3 of us agree there on the over. I'm going to keep track of these tonight so we can we'll be good to get there. So all 3 Boston College with the over. Interesting, because a lot of folks think that that Boston College is going to have a down year with this new coach, rebuilding, etc. We'll have to see how that works out.
Keep up with them. It'll be interesting to go back and revisit at some point.
Yeah, I'm going to keep the list.
I'm not saying they're being really good, but their schedule's just not very good. I mean, so I don't think they did anything real special to get the 6 wins. But we'll see.
Florida State, that's 7.5. 7.5 wins. I'm going to go when I think of Florida State, I think that I like their coach because I think that he has the offensive mind. But the reality is Florida State's offensive line is terrible. And you can have a great offensive mind, but if you don't have a good offensive line, it's not really going to matter. I do think Florida's going to be sort of like how Louisville was last year. Louisville won 7-8 games, something like that. But I think 7.5 just seems a little high for me. And when you look at Florida State's schedule, they got West Virginia, Samford, Boise State. They play at NC State, Clemson at home, Wake Forest at home, Louisville on the road, Pitt. They go to Miami. They also have Syracuse, Boston College, and Florida. So I'm going to I think they're going to win 7 games. So I will take the under. Comrade, where are you at on Florida State?
Yeah,
over or under?
So I'm kind of the same way. I think if everything breaks right for them, they win 8 games. And so I don't like to bet on things that if everything breaks right for you, usually everything's going to break right for you. So I think, I'm kind of with you. I think they're a 7-5 team this year. I'm taking the under. That half is big.
All right. Kale, you taking the under. Kale, over or under?
Looking at them, as soft as Boston College's non-con schedule was, Florida State's is really tough. Versus West Virginia in the opener. I know West Virginia was a little bit down last year, but I expect them to be improved this year. At Boise State, they're not winning that game. Let's just be real. They lost to them last year in what was a home game for them pretty much. I'm looking at this. I see 2 games on here that I would put down as pretty much sure thing. The Samford game, and didn't I struggle with them a year or 2 ago, maybe? And at NC State, those should be wins. The rest of these, they're losable games. They really are. I don't trust them. I know the new coach. Mike Norvell from Memphis, offensive guru. That's great. I think they're still playing with the same shitty quarterback that they've had there the past couple years. What is he up to? Maybe 170 pounds now, soaking wet.
No, I think DeAndre Francois transferred, if I
He
remember
did.
correctly. I'll Google
James
that.
Blackman.
But Blackman, yeah, Blackman's the guy. Yeah,
Blackman's
that guy.
there.
Needs to get,
I see them. I think they can beat Boston College at home, maybe 3-1. I'm
right.
taking the under on this. I don't trust them.
Right.
Until I see some solid results there. You talk about the offensive line not being very good.
Right.
We're already behind right now. I think any team that's got a new coach coming in, I think any team, because of this virus shit, even if we play a full 12 games, I think is going to automatically be behind even more so than what they were already going to be behind. So give me the under on FSU. I'm not sold on them right now. This guy's going to have to get in there and recruit some better athletes.
Yeah, we got to check on that because I think that the big thing with them, and this is just my opinion, don't get upset with me. I think it comes back down to the offensive line, just like I said. And if you don't have a good offensive line, it's going to end up biting you in the butt. Just my opinion on that. Glenn says that Blackman is as tough as a $2 state. He does suck balls, though. Yeah, there you go with that. I think he needs a year. Norvell needs a year. But I think they're going to make a bowl game this year. That down. They're not going to be a 4-8 failure. They'll make a bowl. I believe that. All right, so we all agree on the under, right? That's what we're under for all three.
We're agreeing too much today. I don't like that. That's scary.
Right? That means that don't bet on any of these because that's going to be a failure. Yeah, you don't want to do that. Up next, as we move along in the Atlantic, Louisville is at 7.5. If you look at Louisville's schedule, the Cardinals play NC State, then go to Clemson. They play the Murray State Racers after that, followed by Western Kentucky. Then they go to Syracuse, to Boston College. Bye week, Florida State, Virginia Tech, at Virginia, Wake Forest, at Notre Dame, and then Kentucky. I'll go first on this. I think Louisville.
What's the number again? What's the number? Over and under?
Yeah, it's 7.5, just like Florida State. So when I look at that schedule, I don't think NC State is going to be very good. I think they beat Murray State. Western Kentucky's at 3. I'm going to take the over and give Louisville 8 wins. So I'll take the over there. Scott Satterfield, I think, can coach, and he can obviously recruit too. So give me 8 for the Cardinals. Cale, what do you think?
I'm going to take the over too. Looking at this one, pretty easy schedule to navigate. I think NC State, Murray State, Western Kentucky, at Syracuse, at Boston College, I think should all be wins for this team. That's 5 right there. Florida State at home, I think they should win that one. 6 wins. Virginia Tech and Virginia, maybe a little dicey. I really don't know. I'm interested to see what Virginia is going to do this year with no Bryce Perkins. I mean, he was pretty much like 90% of the team. Wake Forest at Notre Dame. And then the last game of the year, Kentucky. That's going to be a big revenge spot right there at home. Kentucky put a beat down on them this year. I don't think Kentucky's not going to be as good this year. I'm going with the over. And you look at that one also, and 2, the next to the last game at Notre Dame. Louisville played them really tough last year in the first half at home. And last year, we saw Notre Dame struggle against Virginia Tech in around the same point in the season. May have been about a week or 2 earlier, and just barely got by a mediocre Hokie team. That rhymes, a mediocre Hokie team at home. So that's is a spot where this could be a 10-win team. Holy shit, they could be a 10-win team. And I think Scott Satterfield can coach as well. He built Appalachian State.
He did.
He did. Well, Appalachian State's always been pretty good, but he took over and he really built that.
Sparky Woods built them, Cal. Sparky Woods built
exactly. There you go. Sparky Woods started. Jerry Moore carried it. Scott Satterfield improved it, and Drinkowitz wrote it, and for all it was worth, and got a big time job out of it. But I give me the over here. I think it's going to be a good team.
All right. Well, Cale likes Louisville. Imagine that. All right. So as we move along here, all of us are in the camp that we like the over with Louisville.
I didn't go yet, damn it. I didn't go.
Well, your opinion doesn't matter, but go ahead. You like Louisville too. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I see kind of worst case scenario. I see 8-4. I'm kind of along with Cale. I think they can have a special season. You get a couple of breaks here and there, but the Notre Dame game, I think they can win that game there. But 8-4 is kind of the worst I think they'll do.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense to me. I mean, I think they're going to be pretty good. Cale agrees too. Look at that, all of us agreeing like we're brothers or something. Now we're going to fight later on. I assure you of that. Up next in our over and under, these are from Caesar's Palace, by the way. NC State at 4.5. Dave Doran, I can't stand that motherfucker.
Oh, because Dabo don't like him. Give me a break. If Dabo liked him, you would like him. Let's just be honest.
That's not true.
Yes, it is.
I just don't like Dave Doran. I think NC State's a shithole. So give me I think NC State wins 4 games. 4 games. So give me the under. Mike, you can go first.
I see they play Liberty. That they'll probably all be dead from the virus by then because they started school back. That's just kidding. So Liberty is probably a win. Delaware is a win too. I mean, Troy is tough. They probably lose there. I don't think Troy will get screwed with the referees in that game like they did against Clemson a couple years ago. That's 2 wins, right? Then they've got, good Lord, what a crap schedule. I don't see them getting the 4 wins. 2 wins there. Maybe they get Duke. Maybe they get Wake. I'll probably go with a push. I have to agree with you. You know, you're going to screw that. You know what? They're going to get 5 wins to piss off Dabo.
Piss off Dabo.
I'm taking the over.
Taking the over. All right. So, Cale, what do you got?
I'm not real sold on him. I don't like the coach either. But he can he has shown the ability to do less or do more with less over the years. Now, looking at this is not an easy non-conference schedule.
No.
Mississippi State at home. I don't think you're winning that game. The road game at Troy, that's a potential loss spot for them. That's interesting. I don't know. It's been a while since Troy has hosted a Power 5 school.
Yeah,
which is definitely a chance for a loss there. I give them that. So they start 2-2. Florida State at home. So Florida State's on a roll. So drop that. You go 2-3. And you're dropping the game to Clemson. They're not winning that. Let's just be real. And then the game at North Carolina, I don't think they have a chance there. That's 5 losses. So this kind of hinges on Liberty at home, which they should win, provided Liberty doesn't have Buckshot Calvert back at quarterback. I'm not sure. I gotta look at the rosters and my Phil Steele magazines to see who all these teams are coming back. You know what? I'm gonna take the over on them. I think that there's a couple of flip games here. The Duke game at home and the Wake Forest game at home. That's kind of what it hinges on. I think they get both those games just because they're at home. So I think they win 5 to 6 games this year. Give me the over with the NC State shit pack.
Up next, the comrade's favorite team that he's going to, I know he's going to back him this season because his Gamecocks are going to be a shithole. That is, of course, the Syracuse Fighting Orange. We'll let the comrade go first. They're at 5.5. Over or under, Mike?
Hold on, let me pull the schedule up so I can see in detail.
I'll read it right now.
I got it. Okay. So 5.5. So they got Colgate. Colgate's always a strong team for Syracuse. Great school, Colgate. That's a win there. Western Michigan on the road. They got Liberty. Good Lord, Liberty. These ACC teams.
Not Rutgers is a shithole. They should beat Rutgers.
Yeah, Rutgers. Big Ten power. Got to be careful of Rutgers. 5.5. Good Lord.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
So they got. Let's go Rutgers. That's 3. Right, 4 Liberty. That take much good 4. You've got I say they. You know what? I'm going to take the over. They'll get 6-6. Dino Babers can coach. They don't got a lot of talent there. His recruiting is kind of dropped off a little bit. They don't got a lot of talent at all. But I think with that crap schedule, he finds a way to get 6. He wins at Pittsburgh late to get 6 wins and go to a bowl.
All right, Cale, what do you think about the wonderful land of the Orange Man at 5.5?
Once again, non-conference schedule, pitiful. I should go 4-0 there. What's that? Oh, I know they played Western Michigan. This is the 3rd year in a row. I know for a fact they played at Western Michigan 2 years ago, and I could see doing a home and home with a team like that. And what the hell are they trying to do here? Develop some kind of rivalry? Liberty?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah, that's just weird. I mean, I don't know. A lot of times these athletic directors and coaches, they know somebody, and I don't know. Anyway, they should go 4-0 against this non-conference schedule. So you got to win 2 games here, and quite honestly, I think they could do it. At Boston College is a spot where they could win. Them with the new coach coming out. The Georgia Tech game at home is winnable. NC State at home is winnable. Babers can coach, like Mike said. He didn't do very well last year. Fell woefully short of expectations. Everybody thought, woo, Syracuse is going to be top 15, and we all talked about that. We knew Syracuse was going to be shitty. We nailed that one on the head. But they do return Tommy DeVito, my favorite New Jersey mobster mafia guy at quarterback there. I think they'll be improved. I think Babers will use last year's shortcomings as a motivator. And I think he can motivate a team. And I think they'll do a little bit better than what people think. Give me the over on Syracuse. I think they'll win about 6 games as well.
Comrade, you had the over as well, right?
Yeah, I'm going to take the over. I think they'll get to 6.
They might end up playing Gamecocks in the Gator Bowl. Wouldn't that be?
There you go.
I'm taking Syracuse with the over because the non-conference schedule is just really shitty. But I've gotten to interview Dino Babers twice. He's one of those guys that, like, when you meet him, you can tell that you just want to follow him. It's very weird. He's one of those guys that you just talk to and you're like, huh, okay. I like the way you think. So I think he can motivate those young men, and I like him getting them to 6 wins at least. So we all agree there. Up next, as we move along here, our over and under numbers for the season. Wake Forest, the Demon Deacons are at 7. The Deeks will play Old Dominion, App State, Villanova, then
what a schedule.
Notre Dame in Charlotte, Duke on the road, Miami, and then at Florida State. Then they go to NC State, Syracuse, Louisville, Clemson, and Boston College. Seven's kind of. I'm going to go with the man. That's tough though, because
it's 7 or 7.5. It's
that's
7,
just
right?
weird.
It's 7. The number.
It's 7, and I'm having a hard time here because I think that with that gimmick offense that they run, I think they're going to score some points on Notre Dame, and I don't know how motivated Notre Dame is going to be going to Charlotte to play freaking Wake Forest in September. So that's going to be the hinge for me there. I like their coach a lot. He may be a guy that South Carolina should look at when they get rid of Will Muschamp at the end of the season, because this guy can actually coach and actually develop some players, and he'll hire a staff where everybody doesn't get hamstring injuries, and he doesn't lie in his press conferences. So I think their coach will be a great fit for South Carolina if he wanted to come down there. Give me the over with Wake Forest. I think they'll win 8 games. Mike, what do you got?
I'm going with a push. I think I see 7-5. I'm not sure I'm real sold on this great coach of yours you love so much. Maybe he comes to the Gamecock land. I love him. But I'm going to go push. Pushy push. I don't like it.
Just looking at the schedule, just looking at the matchups, I go with a push as well. I think they start off 3-0. I think Appalachian State's losing a lot of the playmakers that carried them to 11-1 record last year in the regular season. I think they dropped that Notre Dame game, but it could be close. It's kind of hinges on, do they beat Duke on the road? Do they take care of Florida State? I think they kind of split those games. The Miami game at home is going to be huge. I saw the over-under number for them. It's laughable. We'll talk about that later. The tail end of the schedule certainly tougher than the beginning of it. That opener too. They open with 2 Friday night games in a row, which is really weird. At Old Dominion, we saw what happened the last time an ACC team went to Old Dominion in 2018. Got embarrassed. Not necessarily. So that's going to happen again. But I'm to be on the safe side. I would give them a push. Wake Forest always seems to do more with less as well, but I wouldn't put them any higher than that.
Let's head to the Coastal. We'll do Clemson last. Duke is at 5.5. The Blue Devils, if you look at their schedule, they got Middle Tennessee, followed by Elon, then Charlotte. What are they, Alabama? What the hell are they doing here? Then they're playing at Pitt, Wake, at NC State, followed by North Carolina, at Notre Dame, at Georgia Tech, Virginia at home, Virginia Tech at home, Miami on the road. I'm taking the over because, Middle Tennessee, Elon, and Charlotte, that's 3 wins right there for shit's so sake. NC State should be a win. Georgia Tech should be a win. So yeah, I'm give me the over on Duke. I like the librarian there. Let him do his thing. Kale, what do you got with Duke?
What's the number? 5?
5.5.
Once again, it's just all hinges on who they got coming back. If I had, if I had my brother, I'm going with 5 wins here. The first 3 games are really easy, but they play a lot of tougher games on the road. They do have Chase Bryce playing quarterback for them, so that's the the unknown. What can he do as a starter? Yeah, give me the under on them. I'm gonna take it safe. I'll take 5 wins.
All right, Mike, what do you got on Duke at 5.5?
I like their coach. Their schedule is horrible. They got to get 6 wins. I don't see how they don't get at least 6 wins. I just don't see it.
That's fair. So we both like the over there. Is that all three of us?
Yes.
The over. So Duke. Let me make sure I'm keeping track of these, by the way. All like the over. All right.
I took the under.
He took the under. Kel didn't like him.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that, Kale. Got to get Kale's correct. That way, in November, when we come back to look at these, Kale's like, I told you, motherfuckers. I can hear Kale telling us that now. Kale takes the under. I've got, and Comrade and I like the over. All right, there we go. Up next, as we move along here, Rob, Comrade, and Kale's show, Georgia Tech is at 3 wins. When I look at the Yellow Jackets, they play Clemson to start the season, followed by Gardner-Webb, UCF, North Carolina, Virginia Tech, Virginia, Pitt, Syracuse, Duke, Notre Dame, Miami, and Georgia. The 3 wins is I like Jeff Collins a lot, guys. I'm gonna go with the over. I think Jeff Collins will get him. He'll get him to 5 wins this year. I'm gonna sneak up on somebody. Give him 5 wins. So I'll take the over with Tech. Mike, what you got?
They actually have a tough schedule. I mean, if they played some of these crap schedules the other teams played, they'd be easy. But they got Georgia, they got Notre Dame, Miami's on there. Of course, Clemson's on there. UCF's on there. I mean, I like their coach too, and I think they're going to be really good eventually. But I'm not sure how ready they are to. Man, that's a tough schedule. 3. Where can I find 3 wins? Gardner-Webb's a win, but good Lord, can they beat UCF? I don't think they can beat UCF. Can they?
I think NC State's a win.
What's that?
Why not? They're playing NC State at home.
Yeah, NC State could win. That's 2, but I mean, Syracuse maybe they can at the Dome on Halloween. I mean, man, I'll go with a push on this. Maybe they get to 3. I just don't. I mean, I like him a lot. I think they're going to be good down the road, but it's only year 2, and he's got a lot of rebuilding to do there.
Completely different system. The Comrade is right on that. So Mike's got the push. Kale, what do you got, brother?
This is a tough schedule once again. Gardner-Webb, that's a win, but other than that, I'm having a hard time finding a second win on here. Like I said, sure win. Maybe they were bad last year. I mean, they were really bad. Maybe the game against Miami. I mean, they beat them last year in a road game. Where do y'all see they're playing NC State at home? I see them at UNC in week 4.
Yeah, I don't see.
Sorry. I looked at it different, Kale.
Yeah,
so you're right about that. I'm looking at the wrong.
They don't play NC State. They got Clemson and
right.
Somebody else.
Syracuse. Syracuse is their crossover.
Yeah.
Syracuse.
I'm taking the under on them. I don't see a second win. I'm sure they'll get it. They'll beat one of these teams of the ACC, but they're not beating Clemson. They're not beating UCF. The North Carolina and Virginia Tech games, both on the road, I think are both losses. Maybe Virginia. Maybe they get them at home. They played Virginia tough last year with Bryce Perkins. Maybe they get them. Maybe they get Duke at home. It's just it's hard to find that with them. It's just still working with a virtual unknown there. I've taken the under.
All right, so Kale's got him at the under. Up next, and I'm going to give Kale time for this one at first. Miami at 9. Let me give you Miami's schedule here. They play Temple. I don't know who this is. Wagner? Who the fuck is that? UAB, Michigan State at Michigan State, Pitt at Wake Forest, followed by the bye week, then North Carolina, Virginia, Florida State, Virginia Tech at Georgia Tech, and Duke. Cale, I'm going to let you go first because they've got Miami at 9. Talk to me. Educate me on the Hurricanes.
Well, my thing about them is they're woefully disappointing every year, except for the year that they went to the ACC championship game. They've underwhelmed. They've made it to the ACC championship game, once, and been in the league, 20 fucking years? I mean, they never live up to expectations.
I don't mean to cut you off on this, but I want to put this out there for the Miami fans on this too. You were brought into the ACC so we could have Miami and then Florida State playing for ACC championships, but you can't ever get there, and it's just shitty. It really is shitty. I think I think Duke has the same amount of Coastal Division champions as Miami does. Check my math on that. But just stop it. These Miami fans too. All they want to talk about is Michael Irvin and Warren Sapp and all those guys. That era of football's over, man. All right, Cale, go ahead and fuck them. Anyway, go ahead, Cale. What you got?
One team had 16 first rounders on it. That's what
ain't nothing now. Cale, over or under with Miami?
Under. Temple, home. That's a bowl team every year. I mean, I'm not sold on you winning that game. I mean, hell, your last time out, you lost to fucking Louisiana Tech. I will say this: I know they're bringing in Derek King, transfer quarterback from Houston. I mean, that's great, but what's he going to do against Power 5 competition? He didn't play a Power 5 schedule at Houston, so I mean, he's level of defenses he's playing
exactly.
Here. Wagner and UAB. Wagner is out of is near New York City somewhere, I believe. Mm-hmm. At Michigan State, that's a weird one. Who's taking over at Michigan State? Is it Mel Tucker?
Yeah, Colorado coach.
Yeah, it was the guy from Colorado.
I think Michigan State is a sleeping. You might laugh at me. I think Michigan State, that program is a sleeping giant. They have the ability to be. I mean, they recruit well.
Okay.
Always solid. I think that, I think that, I don't know. If I give them a win there, that's 3 wins. But who's to say, they struggled with Pitt in the past. North Carolina has turned the corner, so it would seem. You're at Virginia. I don't see it. I give them 4 losses on the schedule. I don't think you're beating Virginia Tech. I don't think you're beating UNC. And that just don't see it. I mean, it's too disappointing. Prove to me you can beat FIU first. Prove to me you can beat Louisiana Tech.
That's a good point, sir. I like that point. Yeah. Prove to me you can fucking score on them. Let's go with that first. Comrade, where you got? Miami with 9. What are you at, brother? Over or under?
I'm going under. I think everything that Cale said, but plus on top of that, a new quarterback, and once again, there's no spring ball. There's no, I'm not sure what the hell we're going to have, okay? But let's just say that the world comes back normal and they can get there in August and start their fall camp, okay? That's not a lot of time for a new quarterback and to get on board with this team and everything. So, I'm not I'm taking the under.
I'm taking the under as well. I think that their schedule is a little bit tougher than it looks, and I think they're going to win 7 games. So all of us agree Miami under. We agree on a lot of this stuff here. Why there you go.
Smart. Well, some of us are smart. You just follow along.
Okay. Holy shit. Up next, This one's going to piss off the comrade because the real Carolina, the team that slapped around South Carolina last year with a geriatric coach, team that bitch slapped Will Muschamp.
Yeah, you guys really crushed them too.
Did we win or did we lose?
You guys really hammered them.
We beat them, didn't we? At their place?
No,
okay.
You bent them over.
Yeah, you really taught them a lesson.
You lost. Shh. North Carolina's at 8.5. I'm taking the Tar Heels with the over because, first of all, I like Chaz Surratt playing linebacker for them. I like their quarterback, Sam Darnold. They've got a good
Sam Darnold. He's in the Jets. I mean Sam Howell.
I'm not thinking. I've got my full disclosure. Give me a minute. Let me explain. I've got my my fantasy draft stuff up here, and I'm looking back and forth between stuff. But Sam Howell, the quarterback there, is I think really special. The guy that they got away from Florida State and convinced him to go to North Carolina. And I really like what Coach Brown is doing up there. I think they win. If you look at their schedule, let's make sure we put that out there quickly too.
What's the number again? 8.5 is the number?
8.5 the number. Let me give you. They've got UCF on the road, Auburn on the road, followed by James Madison, Georgia Tech, Virginia Tech, Duke, Miami, UConn, Pitt, at Boston College, and at NC State. I think they win 9 games, and I think they split the first 2. They're going to beat either UCF or Auburn, one or the other. All right. Now, comrade, I'm going to let you go first. But before you go first, I want you to remember how much you called North Carolina a shithole last year and how they had absolutely
against
your Gamecocks, and then they beat your Gamecocks silly.
Still a shithole. But have awful 2-point conversion plays. Let's see. They lose to UCF 0-1, lose to Auburn 0-2. They beat James Madison 1-2. Georgia Tech, they may slip by. I can see Georgia Tech pulling the upset, but 2-2. Virginia Tech. I'm going to say they split that right there. That's 3-3. At Duke.
Why don't you tell us whether they got the over/under or not? Because we know that you're going to
do Miami 4-4, UConn 5-4, Pittsburgh 6-4, Boston College 7-4, NC State 8-4. What's the number? 8.5? That's the under. Thanks for playing.
Okay. Well, obviously you don't know what you're talking about. But Cale, what do you got for UNC?
Look at this. I'm gonna take the over with you. I see 9 wins here too. I think they start off 0-2, and then go on kind of a tear. The ones I see, the losses I see here, that Virginia Tech at home and at Miami. I think you split those. I think you're gonna win one, you lose one. Even though I hate Miami, I'm not impressed with them at all. The rest of this is very manageable, very navigable, if that's a word. At Duke, that's a rivalry game, and they always that's always a tough one. At Virginia, they lost to it at home last year by 7 points. I think without Bryce Perkins, I think that the Tar Heels take care of business there. I think you beat Georgia Tech. UConn is a disaster on wheels. Pitt, I think you should take care of, and at Boston College. NC State destroyed last year at the end of the year. UNC finished real strong at the end of the year last year, which is good rolling into 2020 because that's a tough ask at UCF and then versus Auburn. And third game of the season at home against James Madison. If there's any FCS teams that I wouldn't want to play, the number 1 is North Dakota State. Number 2 is James Madison. I mean, his team went 14-2 last year. Came this close to beating West Virginia in Morgantown last year, 2 years ago. Came this close to beating NC State and Raleigh. They've beaten Virginia Tech in the past, perennial national championship contender in FCS. I mean, you could slip up and go 0-3. I'm just being real. I mean, it could happen, but I don't think it will. I think you win 9 games.
Up next is Pitt at 6.5. Shout out to the folks in the chat room over there asking Cale if he's cold. He's been trying to turn off the fan up there in his house, but he finally gave up and then went and found a blanket. Way to go, Cale.
Yeah. Shout out
to
Tigers Nation over there. Said Miami probably can beat South Carolina, though.
Hey, can you guys answer? Keith is a patron of the show. Can you please answer his question? That would be great.
Anthony Keith Harrelson, what do you call a shit team that gets beat by a shit team? Oh, dumb.
That's great. Up next, we have the Pitt Panthers. Ladies and gentlemen, Dan Marino is not playing for them. Pitt's a team, though. What's that?
What about Tony Dorsett? Is he playing for him? What about Hugh Green?
I don't think Hugh Green's playing for them either.
What about John Kangemi? Is it John or Jim? Quarterback.
I don't think that's
Ironhead Hayward.
No, I don't see that either. Pitt. Cale is the white Ironhead Hayward, by the way. If we bleached Ironhead Hayward, he would be Cale Hall. Miami of Ohio is who they start the season with, followed by Marshall, Richmond, who don't talk about them much. Then Duke at Miami bye week, Notre Dame, Georgia Tech, Florida State, Virginia Tech, North Carolina, Virginia, and Syracuse. The number for Pitt is at 6.5. I'm going to give them. Oh, man. I think it's going to be tough, but I'll take the under. I think they're going to win 6 games. Give me 6 with Pitt.
I agree.
Cale, what you got?
Oh, go
ahead. Yeah, I see 6. I see 6 on here for sure. I would think sure wins, but the rest, there's
okay. What you got, Mike?
In there.
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
My God, Notre Dame's playing a lot of ACC teams this year. The game at Marshall, that's not a given either. It's not Marshall. Marshall kind of been a sleeping giant too, as well. It's not knocked off one of these Power 5 schools they play, and Pitt seems like just a team for it to happen to. So I wouldn't put that past being lost too. But yeah, it looks like about a 6-win schedule to me for Pitt. They're hard to figure out, man. They're real hard to figure out. That's I don't know. Trying to think of another team that's really hard to figure out every year. It's like Auburn, kind of. Not like it is. Auburn's a team that, when you think that they're going to be national championship contenders or playoff contenders, they win 4 games, and when you think they're going to be terrible, they're in the playoffs. But
yeah, I agree with Rob. I got him going 6-6. I see 6-6. I see that Pitt Syracuse game there is a toss up to the end. Both teams trying to get bowl eligible. In that rev, it's gonna be a bowl eligible game. That Pitt Syracuse game. Make sure you're there. It's gonna be a big time ball game in Central New York. Actually, be in Pittsburgh. That game's in Pitt. But anyway, so 6-6. I have them going. Take the under.
Virginia Tech is up next. They have 8 games for Virginia Tech. If you look at the Va-Tech schedule, look at Liberty. Is Liberty playing every damn body? I'm serious. It looks like Liberty's playing everybody. Liberty, so. Penn State, Middle Tennessee, North Alabama, Georgia Tech, North Carolina, Boston College, the Ville, Pitt, Miami, Duke, Virginia. They have the over and under at 8. Justin Fuente is coaching for his job. He has lost Bud Foster, though. I think Bud Foster, he put together great defenses at Virginia Tech for a long time. Give me the under on this. I think Virginia Tech is going to drop a game to a team like Georgia Tech. You can see that they may drop a game to it wouldn't surprise me if they lost to Middle Tennessee. They're going to lose a game they have no business losing. And I think they're going to finish like 5-7. So give me the under on Virginia Tech. Kale, what do you got on Va Tech? It's 8.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I think losing Bud Foster is going to be like they just don't know which way to go.
There's Kale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So we both think they're going under. Mike, what you got?
Same thing. I think they have a horrible year. I think they go way under. I think it turns to a tire fire quick. And the fact he's trying to leave that job already. I think that's got a bad taste.
They want to be there.
They want to be there. I think it turns ugly quick. So that's way under. I mean, that's probably my number one kind of over under pick in both conferences right there is taking the under in that one.
All right. So that is everyone in the Coastal. Let's head back to the Atlantic. The Clemson Tigers. Oh, I didn't do Virginia. Damn it, Kale. You're right. I missed him. That's why we have a 3-man show. The comrade doesn't bring shit to the show. Kale's got to be here when I mess up. Virginia's at 6.5. Let's give you the Cavaliers schedule here. The Cavaliers open up with
Don't be
Georgia.
cavalier about it.
VMI follows them, followed by UConn at Clemson, North Carolina at Georgia Tech, at Old Dominion in October. That's stupid. Miami, Louisville at Duke, Pitt at Virginia Tech. Athletic directors, work with the conference to schedule all your non-conference games, unless it's a rivalry game, at the beginning of the season. Playing a non-conference game in freaking October is stupid. I'm deducting points from Virginia for that. I think they win 6 games.
But what's their number again?
6.5 is the over and under. Kale, you got higher or lower than 6.5?
I would go with lower. I think Bryce Perkins was their whole team. I mean, he was the running back. He was the quarterback. It was everything. I see them taking a step back. Now, they do have a good coach. I will give them that. Bronco Mendenhall is a good coach. Brought a tough, hard-nosed approach to them, and it's kind of hard, but I think you're right. About 6 games is where I think they're going to land.
All right, so we're all under there. Finally,
I didn't get mine yet. I didn't get mine. Good Lord.
I thought you already had it.
No.
Go ahead. Give me yours then.
I think they go 7-5. I think they go over.
It goes under.
Okay.
Over.
Yeah.
All right, comrade. Tell us why they're going over then.
I think their schedule is pretty crappy, number one. They got to play Georgia and Clemson. That's 2 losses there. But then everybody else, they're going to be every ball game in there. Who else is a guaranteed loss after that? I just don't see it. So 7-5 is at the minimum. I like their coach, as I said. I know Bryce Perkins is gone, but their coach can coach. He beat the great Will Muschamp. He's got to be able to coach a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and take Virginia 7-5 to go over.
Oh God, that's so bad. The final team that we have on the schedule is the Clemson Tigers at 11.5. Kale, you go first. I'll give you their schedule real quick here. They play at Georgia Tech. They have Louisville at home. Then followed by Akron, Virginia, Boston College, Florida State on the road, NC State and Syracuse at home. Then they play Notre Dame on the road, followed by the Citadel. Then they go on the road to Wake Forest, and then they play a shithole from Columbia in the final game of the season. They're right at Thanksgiving. Dale, what do you have the Tigers at? 11-5 over or 11.5 over or under?
You know, and I'm not being a hater here. I put you under. I think you drop in a regular season game this year. What if you went through 2018 and 2019, ripped through both of those regular season slates undefeated?
Right.
I don't see it happening 3 years in a row. I just don't. I think you're going to have a 2016 Pitt game in there somewhere. I think somebody that you should beat, that you lose to. Everybody looks at that Notre Dame game. That's the classic, sexy matchup for it, place for it to happen at. But maybe it doesn't happen there. Maybe it happens at home against Louisville. Maybe you slip up against. Well, no. I mean, maybe you slip up against Florida State on the road. They're supposed to be improved. We'll see. I see you dropping a game somewhere there. And once again, this is not me being a hater. It's giving me my unbiased opinion. I think it happened somewhere. We saw it almost happen last year against UNC. And I think somebody gets you this year.
Mike, what do you got? 11.5.
I agree with Cal. I think you lose. I think you lose the game. At a certain point, the luck runs out, the BS runs out. And I mean, you should have lost to UNC last year. Every year there's a game you should have lost, and I think you get beat. I think that Notre Dame game, I think that could be the one. I mean, I kind of think you're going to go Notre Dame, and, you all take the pilgrimage there, all the Clemson fans. It's your little bucket list game. You got it all in your, ready reserved to go, and let's go there, and and you're going to go there and lose. So I'm going to take Notre Dame. And also, the Louisville game, I wouldn't, early in the year, maybe Louisville gets you too, maybe. But I think you lose either to Louisville or Notre Dame. And, and if you get by those two games, that's bad news for you. Because if you're undefeated on the 20th of November against a fullback with Mike Bobo, the last time you faced the Mike Bobo offense, gave up 45 points.
Yeah,
just throwing it out there. Just throwing it out there.
But Tater fans will tell you that's because Dabo didn't let Deshaun play the whole game.
Are we trying to be realistic here? Or are you guys just going to be?
I'm being dead serious. You're going to drop a game.
All right. Well, here's my thing with Clemson going into the season, and I believe that games are won and lost at the offensive and defensive lines. Okay. So my big thing with Clemson, they lose 4 starters up front on the offensive line. Jackson Carman is going to be a first-round draft pick in the NFL. He is that special. I also like the redshirt junior Matt Brockhorst is his name, and I like Jordan McFadden. But here's the thing. They got to play last year. Oh, Jesus. They got to play last year, and that's fine. But there's a big difference in rotating in and out and actually being dependent on as a starter. And you've also got the fact of who's going to be behind them. So I like the guys that are coming back to an extent, but I do think that the offensive line is going to be a work in progress for the first little bit of the season. I'd like Justin Ross and Amari Rogers. I think they're going to be great this year, and Ross is going to have to put up numbers if he wants to be the NFL prospect that he's thinking that he is. Nagata and Frank Latson will also be relied upon to kind of fill the role of T. Higgins. My big thing with that, though, is that you don't know until they actually get out there. The other thing I'm worried about with Clemson is the secondary. Darion Kendrick is the only starter coming back. No Kayvon Wallace, no Tanner Muse, no AJ Terrell. Everybody bitched about Tanner Muse. You're going to see how there were things that Tanner Muse did that were really good that kind of got overshadowed by the fact that he did some things that were really, really bad. So it's going to come down to Mario Goodrich, Andrew Booth, and a couple of other guys in the secondary. So there are questions with
Keep Mr.
Clemson.
Booth from punching people in the face.
Exactly. Can't be bashing people in the skull. That doesn't work. So, but coming back to it, though, even with all of that, I don't think that Clemson should go in as the number one team in the country. And my Clemson folks that know me are like, what are you talking about, Rob? I'm just saying with those questions on the offensive line and the back half of your defense is completely rebuilt, and you're having to depend on what Xavier Thomas can do every single game. And let's be honest, he's a highly touted player, but he hasn't really lit the world on fire yet. And you're talking about just potential here. If they're going to lose a game, I think that they lose the game at the early portion of the season to Louisville. I think they roll through the rest of the schedule. The only other team that will come close is on the road at Notre Dame. In fact, in November, November is the tough game there is Notre Dame. If they get through that game, they're going to roll. Citadel and Wake Forest on the road. Wake Forest should be decent, but not a problem. And South Carolina is an absolute joke. Will Muschamp's never gotten within 21 points. South Carolina's probably maybe with an interim coach by then. If the Gamecocks start 0-4, something like that, they may fire Will Muschamp at the beginning of the season. Either way, that may be the last game Will Muschamp is coaching there, and Dabo Swinney will kick him out of Clemson on his ass. So my logic tells me to take the under, and I think that Clemson will drop a game, but I think the only team that has a shot is Louisville. Only team that's right has a shot is Louisville, and everybody else is going to get throat punched. The other thing that you have to think about here too is that Trevor Lawrence is going to want to put on a show, and so is Travis Etienne. So I'm going to take the over. I think that the only game that's tough on there is Louisville. So Clemson alum 98 says I'm all right about Xavier Thomas. And I'm not running, putting out anything out there that's not crazy, but I just don't. He's been a disappointment. He really has. He was supposed to come in and freaking dominate. He just hadn't done it yet. He has all the potential and everything else, but until you actually do it, So other comments from some folk in there in the chat room. Just fire Will Muschamp now. Don't even wait because he's hot dumpster trash. Comrade, defend your boyfriend.
Who said that, by the way?
Dennis Wilson.
He's a tater. Like he's not whatever.
I think Dennis Wilson's a Miami fan. It's a different Dennis Wilson, you jerk.
That's not the Dennis Wilson. Let me see his butt cheek, make sure I know for sure. Show me.
Mr. The only team that can beat Clemson is Clemson. Good point.
Whoa, that's deep. That's deep.
Travis Etienne, a sucker staying and not taking the NFL money. By the way, if we have it where, and Comrade, I don't know how you feel about this. If they have where they're talking about possibly an 8-game season starting in the wintertime, I'm going to break it to Clemson fans right now. The Travis Etienne and Trevor Lawrence will not play if they don't start the season on time. There's no way that they're going to start in February and play 8 games or 10 games, and Travis Etienne and Trevor Lawrence are going to play. It's just not going to happen. They're not going to do it. It's just, sorry. Hate to break it to people, but their NFL money will go down the shitter. So there's that. Comrade, do you think I'm crazy on that?
Well, I'm going to give you some bad news. I apologize for giving bad news. There's not going to be college football this fall. And I know, Rob has got some sources to say otherwise, but here's the thing. You have to understand, okay? And I have to understand this real quick, okay? They're not going to have games if the students aren't on campus for school. And there'll be lots of campuses that have students on campus. The issue is not all schools will. Like, for instance, the California schools probably won't. So what are you going to do, like with California schools who are not going to have games, because you can't have games if there are no people in school taking classes, except for online classes. That's kind of, it's like sports is an extracurricular activity. You can't just go, oh, it's a school, it's a first, okay? So, and say for the ACC, for example, SEC is a little bit different because we're all kind of together. But the ACC, you've got Boston College and Syracuse. I've got news for you. Boston College and Syracuse are not having kids on campus this fall. So what do you do? If South Carolina does, if Clemson does have kids in school, and what do you do with the ACC schedule? BC and Syracuse, they forfeit the games. I mean, so it's gonna be a type of thing where everyone's got to be in. It's not just a few teams can be in. I don't think you're seeing football in the fall. The spring thing, I have no idea if that will work or not. That's like probably the best option, or you just don't play this year. NFL is a little bit different because they can do the whole no fan thing. And say if California, for example, is real strict, the Niners and the Chargers and who else is out there? They can play. They can go play neutral site games or whatever. Make a deal. Okay, we're going to move your games to Arizona or something like that. Whatever. But I just don't see college football in the fall. Just because it's a whole. It's a different animal than the pro sports where you got 30 teams and you can kind of do those. It's not going to happen.
Well, I'm not a doctor, but I don't know. I go by what the CDC says, but I think that even if there's been talk about maybe isolating the hot spots. What I mean by that is New York, Chicago, big towns like that, and then possibly opening up other sections of the country. I think that the NCAA has to come out with a blanket statement, and it may piss some people off, but they're not going to put teams like a Syracuse and a Pitt and a Northwestern into a spot where they don't play because of coronavirus stuff, because it's completely different in bigger cities than it is in smaller towns like Columbia, Clemson, etc. I mean, there's mass graves in New York City at some spots. So I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I do think, and I've had a couple of sources that have told me that a couple of ACC coaches have been point blank told that we are having a football season in the fall. I know you SEC fans are like, it's better to ACC. I mean, these are two well-respected coaches that have said they have been told, make sure your team is ready. We're having full stadiums, everything in the fall. I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but shall see.
You can't.
Do you have anything else you'd like to add to the show tonight?
No, I think I'm done. I just hope we move past this, and I hope there's football in the fall. I've got my reservations. I kind of doubt it as well, but there's always hope.
I agree with you on that. All right, Mike, with that, this show is a wrap. Boom.